everybody. My name is Jeff Crane. We're here at Tokenize in Las Vegas. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Ed Prado, with RAIR Tech. He is the CEO and co-founder of this company, and I've known you for a couple of years now, at least two and a half years. It's good to see you again, buddy.
Absolutely. It's good to be seen.
I hear you are doing some great things with the company, and you made a little pivot.
Yeah, huge pivot, actually.
Tell us a little bit about what RAIR Tech is and this pivot that you made.
So RAIR Tech, we started this project, as you know, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And at the time, where our big focus is using NFTs as a proxy for digital rights management. So if you owned an NFT, you can watch a movie, you can have access to a Zoom call. So we're really focused on that. But what we realized, like oftentimes happens in technology, we were way ahead of the market. And everybody was just digesting the NFT narrative, and people weren't really looking or using or had a need for something like that. So after a lot of sort of chatter with our customer base, we realized that what we had built is infrastructure that people needed. The one thing that is missing from the blockchain ecosystem is something that helps developers build quicker. And that's what we were sitting on. So we basically pieced apart all the different parts of our infrastructure. We created an SDK. And now what we're doing is we're onboarding thousands of developers. We just got back from India, where we hosted a hackathon with like 20,000 kids, and they were all building on RAIR.
Wow.
And the real pivot was we're going to do this in an open source format, because we feel that if you look at blockchain and Web3, the whole ecosystem is about being open. So you have layer ones that are open, you have layer twos that are open, but then the deployment layers are typically closed. They're a black box. And that's one of the reasons that blockchain really isn't taken off, because all the large enterprises have too big of a risk to basically plug into some black box with an API and not have kind of their hands on the code. So we are in the process of creating a DAO where we're going to put all the code into, and that's going to be called RAIR Protocol. And then we're onboarding a whole bunch of infrastructure partners. We just announced a transaction with Alchemy, where they are going to be a preferred provider for RAIR Protocol. We're also doing one with Google. We're doing one with Akash Network. So all sorts of different people, and it makes all the sense in the world. Like, you're open, you have the tools that can enable, developers. You're bringing in developers, you're bringing in L2s that can connect into this protocol. And with those two moving, you'll then wave in enterprises, because enterprises need two things. They need code that reduces the risk, and they need developers that they can lean on, not only internal, but external, that they can kind of wave into projects.
Now listen, Ed, we've known each other for a while now, and what's interesting is we may not see each other for a couple years, but when we get back in the same room, it's like we're college buddies.
Yeah.
Like, right? We just kind of go back.
Right back in
it's this relationship and personality and culture that we have within our tribes, and there's a lot of abundance. It doesn't surprise me at all that you're being successful as you open this up and make this open source. Yeah. Isn't this like a principle of success in life, is to be abundant and let others access? Would you find that?
I think there's two things there, as you say that strike me. One is to be flexible when you're engaging in the journey that is being an entrepreneur. Like, we were so focused on one piece of the puzzle, but then all of a sudden what evolved was a huge piece. And the other part is, in being open, the more open you are, the more you attract. And then the interesting, fascinating part about it is there are more revenue channels that we are basically tapping into now than we could have ever tapped into before. Before, we were black box, we were selling a SaaS model. Hey, pay us $500 a month and you can use our, API. Now we're making money like, a dozen ways. So it's very interesting. It's a very different, but I go back to the premise of the entrepreneur. Like, you work hard, you engage, you listen to the signals in the market, and then you adjust accordingly. And this last signal we actually got it from Sony in Japan. They loved our technology, but they just expressed the risk involved in actually doing something with a small company, a black box with no developers.
Yes.
And after we kind of listened to that market signal, we realized, wow, if we open source, we can attract developers, we can attract other L2 chains, and in doing all that, we'll attract the Sonys of the world. And now, Sony, as you know, has forward integrated, and they're doing their own blockchain called Sonium. And they tapped us to be an infrastructure partner. So we are, with them, we've integrated RAIR protocol into Sonium. And now we're working, they've got about 2,000 projects that are coming in their pipeline. And we're working on those.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's been really great.
Listen, this was a short interview. I'd love for you to look in the camera. I know we've had interviews before at Times Square and all that fun stuff. I'd love for you to look in the camera, and I've seen your journey. I really wish we had pointed the camera towards you a lot longer ago. But maybe give an entrepreneur some advice or some feedback on what you've had to go through over the last 4 years as far as some of your flexibility or whatever the case is. Anything you'd like to share with these entrepreneurs who are out there?
Well, I think there's three things.
Okay.
One is commit to your cause and know that your cause is going to be sort of a moving puck, but really commit to it. Like, I've been a lifelong entrepreneur, and I've just seen how things transpire and change. So commit to that and chase it, and just know that it's not always going to be easy. In fact, most of the time it's going to be really, really hard. But that's what's exciting. We're building something that is just amazing. The other thing is surround yourself by people that you appreciate and that you look up to and that can help you. There's so many like solopreneurs that are like, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to be out there. I can do this. Like, a self mission is selfless. It typically doesn't grow to sort of the level that gets exciting. So share the pie. Bring people in. Bring on advisors. Bring on people that could really help you. And then the last thing is be open to competitors and conferences, and your best friend is maybe the next person you meet at a conference, like us.
Yeah.
We met a long time ago. We've got this relationship going, and I've never dismissed anything, or I've never said, I'm not going to make money, or there's no deal there. Like, because that's
transactional. It's all relationship.
All relationship. And you realize that the dots start connecting backwards, and you're like, oh, I met this person through this person and that other person, and that's how we ended up here.
Now, listen, I have to say this because we have Joyce Chow behind the camera making faces at us. We love her. Come here. We have to have you come here.
Joyce is going to come in and do a sneak.
A little sneak interview. Oh, you're fine. Look at this, gal.
Oh my God.
We love you so much. It's like a family. After college. It's like Animal House or something like that. I don't know what it is, but it's like a fraternity and a sorority all mixed into one.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Turbin's house.
It's Joy. So we love you, Joy.
This is like one big extended.
Isn't it?
It really is.
Thank you so much.
It is awesome.
Thank you for being here.
Yes. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. That was a perfect end.
All right, man. Thank you. That was awesome.